But are you drinking decaf or regular coffee?
Regular coffee.
Oh my God!
Is that you don't have a night cup of coffee sometimes?
I just finished a
Maybe
bang.
once every few months.
Cam, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was a Four Loko.
It does kind of look like a Four
Beats
Loko.
logo.
You're
looks like
approximately
Beats letter B.
18 years old, too old for a Four Loko. But
Wait,
that
did
look
Bang steal the B from Beats?
That is the B from Beats.
Yeah. Energy by Dre.
It's also stolen it's also stolen the electric energy from Pokemon because that's the exact lightning bolt symbol from Pokemon. So,
Yeah.
Landon, open that can again.
What?
Landon, open that can again.
Yeah, we want a can open.
3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah.
So good.
That's phenomenal.
Coors Light, if you're listening.
Are you ready?
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
You know, they have those nerds clusters, which is new. Yeah, which is good. 10-5! Touchdown!
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
What are we doing?
Why all the long faces? We're not dead yet.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Welcome to Press Box After Dark. Today is Thursday, April 31st. All right, it's May 1st. It's May 1st.
I wasn't paying attention. What happened?
No, that's right. Landon, how you doing, buddy? I haven't seen you in a couple weeks.
I know, it's been a minute. I'm doing good. You know, storming down here in Dallas, Fort Worth, wherever I'm at.
I feel like you should know that.
Which one is it?
He's not sure if it's Dallas or Fort Worth.
I was being, mysterious because I don't want
Have you
people
had a
tracking me
few
down.
too many cheerleader girls tonight?
All of our fan. I don't want.
Well, we're going to reveal. We'll put all of our addresses out there tonight so that everybody.
Do I have to put all of my addresses?
Hunter has a lot of them too.
We get it, Landon.
In a
You have
calendar
so
year.
many houses.
Yeah. A little subtle brag there. Landon's got about 8 houses.
No, I just knew it was going to come up, so
yeah,
beat you to it.
Hunter, you're still in Arkansas, right? We haven't talked to you in a couple weeks.
For the moment, I'm still in Arkansas. You
All
just
right.
never know. We always like to move which way the wind blows, so you just never really know with us.
Cam, you've been all around the globe here these last couple weeks, haven't you? You've been bouncing back and forth. Back in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good answer. Good answer.
Well, good answer.
All right.
Survey
In the pod.
says.
Dynamite drop-in money. That broadcast school really paid off.
Such a good podcast.
Oh my God.
We have so many.
This is why we have no listeners right here. Is this moments like this? This is why we have no listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
North
It's
Carolina,
very rare
that is where I am.
It's very rare that Cam has said less words than Landon so far.
That would be a funny challenge if we all tried to be like Landon for a podcast, and then Landon's like, "Why isn't anyone talking?"
Can it be a trivia episode? I know I can get questions wrong.
Landon has won me a trivia episode. That's all I can say.
I just feel bad because Cam believed in me, and I was like, please stop believing in me.
I feel bad for not making the questions. What's 2 + 2?
7.
Damn it.
Herod, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. We're still in San Angelo. Our geography doesn't change much.
You're in the heart of your baseball season now. I feel like we're getting ramped up. Here. We're a month in.
It's
We don't
all
want to talk
over
about
for
that.
the Rangers, on May 1st. But no, I started the month at the lake house, and the goal between the four of us was 100 fish. We caught maybe 12, 14, something like that.
It was also 33 degrees.
Freezing and windy and just miserable the whole time. But we
But
got a
you
lot of
persevered.
Disney board games in, so that was cool. Just 4 straight dudes playing Disney board games for 3 days.
Hunter, your hands up. What's up?
Dude, I just have to comment on this lake trip.
Oh,
So
boy.
I'll say this about Jordan. Okay, I love him to death. And normally Jordan's like, sometimes Jordan is the voice of reason in our group. I feel like Jordan will be like, "Oh, hey, like this probably isn't a good idea." However, this is the one. This is the one.
Not when fishing's involved.
This is the one time I've seen Jordan just go to absolute just stupidity for an entire weekend. Because like he's like, "Hey guys, we came here to fish." Jordan, it says it's 40 degrees outside with a wind chill that says it's 36, and it's like 25-mile-an-hour winds, and it's raining. Jordan, give it up. We're not
Put some
going
layers on, you cowards.
Hey Jordan, how many dozen minnows did we get?
I think I ended up buying 4 dozen.
Yeah, how many did we
Let
use?
about 3 dozen of them go.
I'm pretty sure we caught the same fish 12 times.
Yeah, it's Pete.
Hunter called me a madman.
You were
I was
you were a
hell-bent trying to
madman.
catch a
Instead
fish.
of like going inside and just like playing Catan or something
At one
else.
point, I turned around. Hunter and Shane were literally behind me, just shivering, and Landon was nowhere to be found because he was in the house.
Yes,
I was like, screw all you. I can come out here whenever.
Too cold.
I don't need
yeah,
to be down here.
That's true. You live there, so you can.
Sorry to cut you off, Jordan. I just had to throw you under the bus there because I've never seen.
Like the last morning, we're like, all right, well, maybe this will be like the calmest day. Like, no, it wasn't any better. And yeah, so all I did was feed the fish in the lake, and hopefully they'll be bigger for the next time I'm there.
That happened to be our first time down to Texas in like a year, and we found the coldest weekend in a year to go down there. I mean, it was terrible.
361 other days of the year would have been better for us to fish at Lake Kiowa.
God. At least we made it. At least we made it to the Rangers.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
That was a great trip.
Minus Jake Mangum having to sit that day.
Never heard of him.
Well,
Who's that?
You wouldn't have known that based on how many people were wearing Mississippi State jerseys that night. That was crazy.
Hunter, what's our agenda tonight? Because you know none of us read it.
I know. This is actually this is the shortest agenda we have ever typed. And we are still going to find
Sorry. I've never typed one.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to give y'all credit here.
Breaking news, Jordan.
Uh-oh.
The Rangers are leading 11-0 in the bottom of the sixth.
Hey. A lot of ball game left.
It's the bottom of the sixth. We're fine.
A lot of ball game left.
I hope they blow this. It's going to be great. All right. No, shortest agenda I've ever typed. I have one question for all of us, and then I want Zach to just lead us through the 2025 NFL draft, and let's just talk about that for a little bit and everything that happened, and then we'll hang a banner and get out of here. So the question that I've seen on the internet over the past couple of days that has really piqued my interest, and I really want to hear y'all's answers here, is that there's a debate going on the internet that there's it started with a claim, maybe it's a fact, I don't know, of one gorilla, a full-grown male gorilla, could defeat 100 humans in a fight. And so the internet debate has been people listing out 100 humans that they would send in as their team to take on said gorilla. And so we don't have to get to 100, but I just want to hear maybe 5 to 10 people, or maybe just 1 or 2. Who would you send on the Press Box After Dark team to represent us to go kill this gorilla?
Yeah, I'm going to go first on this. Also,
hold on. Before you say this, PETA, if you're listening, no gorillas are harmed in this fake scenario. Okay, go.
You told us 3 earlier, so I came up with 3.
Okay, good.
So my first thought is you need like a distraction / human sacrifice right off the bat. So Trevor Bauer, logical pick. Just saying. Then you need to try the peaceful route first. So you got to have somebody to negotiate. So I went with Dr. Doolittle. That seems like a really, really sleeper pick.
Yeah.
That's actually not bad. I like it.
But if we got to fight this gorilla, I'm taking Khabib.
That's exactly who I was thinking.
From the UFC. Because, like, dude legit wrestled bears. Like, I was having this conversation with my brother earlier, and I told him everyone else goes into that fight knowing they're going to lose to the gorilla. Khabib goes in thinking the gorilla's at a disadvantage. That dude's nuts, man.
Okay, so your three were Trevor Bauer, Dr. Doolittle, and Khabib.
Yeah. And honorable mention was David of Goliath fame.
Oh, yeah.
David and Goliath.
Yeah.
I did see one dude, he posted his like whole 100. It was like 75, and it was like David, and in parentheses he put David versus Goliath. Like,
you're not going to not take that guy, dude. He's used to being the underdog.
Okay,
Pre-King David.
I like our list so far.
Yeah. King David streaked the schedule through the roof.
You can't say he ain't played nobody. Zach, let me hear a few off of your list here. Who is adding to this team that's pretty freaking loaded already?
No, my Khabib was 100% my 1-1.
That dude's insane.
Yeah. He wrestled a bear.
If Zach wants Khabib, I'll add Kimbo Slice instead.
Oh, he was on my list. Nice pick.
Well, then I'll add Brock Lesnar instead.
Oh, he's also on my list.
No. Well, then I'll quit picking.
The
Hunter
Rock
has 31
The
on
Rock
his
was going to
list
be on
already.
there as well.
Who?
The Rock.
Okay.
I was going to throw him in there.
That was Cat's pick. Was the
just
Rock
to help support.
If the fight with the gorilla is scripted and they're in their underwear, he's going to be.
I
wrong.
didn't think of somebody to sacrifice though.
But here's the thing though. If you could have someone to sacrifice, because here's the deal. The Rock is a package deal with Kevin Hart and everything. So you could send Kevin Hart in to be a sacrifice.
Ooh.
Kevin Hart and Trevor Bauer. Sorry about you guys.
I like how we're wasting two spots.
Here's the thing. I went in. I tried to kill the gorilla. And I couldn't get it.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Okay, so we have. So let me get this. So Trevor Bauer, Dr. Doolittle, Khabib, David of David and Goliath fame, The Rock.
But I did think along Herod's lines in terms of like somebody who could talk to animals, because I did have Ace Ventura on my list.
Let's go.
Nice.
Dr. Doolittle, literally, when Hunter was like, hey, we should do this, I was like, oh, Dr. Doolittle's the easiest pick in the whole world. I took Doolittle before I took Khabib, dude.
It took Doolittle before I took Khabib.
But I don't know who my sacrificial lamb would be though.
It could be anybody.
Yeah, whoever we hate. I got a few people.
I was about to say, well, this is not as short as it used to be. That list might touch the water.
The one, another one I saw was like 10 angry European soccer fans.
Wow.
And I was
What
like,
about Hunter
they're-
versus
they're-
100 dictionaries?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh. Brutal.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
this might be a stupid question. This might
This whole thing is
play
stupid.
into it. Hold on.
Yeah, it's definitely not
you
stupider
said-
than
wait,
man
you
versus
said,
gorilla.
you said Hunter versus 100 dictionaries. Aren't all dictionaries the same?
No.
No.
They actually are not. They add words. a lot.
Abridged and unabridged?
Wait until you hear about other languages.
I mean, do you think I can speak other languages? Oh my
We
God.
should have gone encyclopedia.
And they do update the dictionary each year. So
It's
They
true.
do. Like 7 years ago, they added man's.
Okay, let me try it the other way. 100 hunters versus one dictionary.
That's
Still
better.
doesn't work.
That's better.
Webster, 1.
That's better. Zach,
Hunter, I
you-
got some.
Oh, Zach, are you done, or we'll go to Landon? Or
I'm
you got
done.
any more?
This is no. I'm done.
Good deal. All right, Landon, let me hear it.
I'm gonna start with Aaron Hernandez.
Oh.
He was on my list. He was on my
Oh my
list.
God.
Jordan's
Dark.
face.
The dark
That got
I didn't
dark
know
so
weapons were
quick.
allowed. If weapons are allowed, I'm putting Ray Lewis in this thing for sure.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Also
OJ.
on my list.
I mean, we could do this. We could do OJ. I mean, we got a list.
OJ was my next one.
Oh no!
Oh my God. So
Just
Landon,
a little
went
bit
for
more
murderous
violent when it
football
comes to
players.
this
Got
thing.
it.
Okay, Mike
and,
Vick.
and Ray Rice was my next one.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
All right, I think people are going to start rooting for the gorilla.
You don't
I
have
already-
any
yeah.
white murderers on your list?
Oh no!
Maybe.
Oh my.
Okay.
Oh, I have a bait too.
Oh, you
It's a wee man, Jason Acuna.
Oh, you're putting Wee Man out to slaughter? Oh.
Hey.
Oh, what did Wee Man do to you?
That's
So,
Landon. I think you disqualified yourself.
That's a rough list.
So let me
That's
get
what I
this
was
straight.
trying
So
to
you went Aaron Hernandez, OJ Simpson, Ray Rice, and Wee Man.
Yes, sir.
Landon is the guy on the jury who's like trying to be racist so he can get kicked off.
Yes.
That's what's happening.
That's what's happening.
What a Family Guy episode.
It's great. It's so good.
All right, Cameron, do you want me to go or do you want to go ahead?
I'll go because I originally had a list of 3, and then before we started this thing, you said you had 30 names. So I want to make sure you don't name any of mine.
Doesn't Hunter do that every single time?
It's ridiculous, right?
Hey guys, we're gonna have a draft. We're all gonna go 5 rounds. I wrote down 99.
Okay, you wrote down like 47 different sodas.
I'm prepared.
Hunter wrote down 11 different hockey video games.
Again, I'm prepared.
Cameron, I'm sorry. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, so I added 2 to my list. Do you guys care if I do 5?
No.
Well, Hunter's doing 30, so go for
We
it.
have no rules to this.
So-
I just want to see our team's actually not that bad.
So I didn't have any sacrificial lambs. I kind of just went with some, people who with different skill sets. But I kind of have them ranked here from worst to best. At 5, I have Jackie Chan. I feel like he's going to be maybe not a sacrificial
Great
lamb,
pull.
but
Great pull.
just a distraction.
Yeah, he can hold his own though.
He's
Love it.
quick. He's quick, and he packs a punch. 4, Andre the Giant.
See, I thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
He might, he's not quick. He's the opposite of Jackie Chan, but he might just be able to manhandle the gorilla. He could just, if he gets the gorilla off balance, he could just sit on the gorilla.
Yeah.
But what if the Hulk Hogan comes out and is on the gorilla side?
Or the Hulk.
Oh, ooh.
Let me tell you something, brother. I ain't losing to no gorilla. I'm going over tonight, brother.
Okay.
There's
So
other comments to be made, but I'm going to leave it
now,
alone.
number 3 is a bit of a wild card, and it hedges very heavily on whether or not we're allowed to bring weapons in.
Yeah.
It's the
Is it OJ?
it's the West Virginia Mountaineer.
OJ's off.
Okay. Are you asking if he can bring his musket?
If he can bring the musket, he can sit in, he can have his space and just try to pop the gorilla one time. But if he
How much
misses
damage
and
do
he
you think
has,
a musket's going to do to a gorilla with one shot?
well,
R.I.P. Harambe.
here's my thing. I think a musket will do enough to kind of put the gorilla down for a second to open up some holes for these other people to get in and just.
That's also not a quick reload.
What are you saying?
That's exactly what I was saying, though. The caveat here, and
Wait,
this is
can
why it's a wild card.
Why
Can
are
you-
we
can
opening
you-
holes and going in?
Yeah, can you go back to that for a second? Is this the gynecologist appointment for the gorilla? What's going on?
Hey, don't sidetrack me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're right. You don't need help with
Hey,
that.
so the Mountaineer. The problem with the Mountaineer is if he misses and he has to reload, he is very squarely behind the 8 ball.
I don't think you can allow weapons in this.
Yeah, I feel like weapons changes everything.
Ah,
Yeah.
crap.
Okay, well,
Yeah, 'cause
number
at that
2.
point, we'll just put like Rambo and he's dead. As in, like Rambo just shoot him.
Okay, at number 2, I have gone with 2004 Barry Bonds.
Okay.
Okay, do you mean John Dowd?
You mean John Dowd? How many times can we mention John Dowd on this podcast?
Okay.
And then at number 1, I'm so glad that no one else came up with it, and I really hope Hunter didn't have it either. Terry Tate, office linebacker.
Oh, great pick.
Oh,
that's
I
the best
one.
pick. Of the
I didn't have that.
And all you have to do is tell him that the gorilla killed the Joe and didn't make some mo.
There it
and
is.
that gorilla is done.
Very
Is it
good.
nighttime Joe or morning Joe? Never mind.
Oh my! All right,
That's
you
the
killed
best
the
pick of the
Joe.
night
You
so
make
far.
some mo.
all right. Y'all.
That's
said
what it's called, Doug.
y'all said a lot of mine, so I'll skip the ones that we've already mentioned. I'm just gonna list all mine off. Do y'all care?
What?
Go
how long
ahead.
is this depth chart?
Oh no. All right, y'all ready?
He's got a 2 deep.
First one that I thought of. Don't know why. 2016 Sean Oakman from Baylor. That photo of him with the shoulder pads and the abs.
I like it.
I'm sending him out there first for sure. Number 2, Braun Breaker, WWE former Intercontinental Champion. Jordan knows who I'm talking about.
We'll allow it.
Yep. He's going to spear the gorilla to death.
No,
and if he doesn't work, we're going to send out Prime John Cena just to make sure that works. So I got John Cena on the list as
He
well.
just won again. He's might still be in his prime.
Yeah, Jordan's got some thoughts on that, but we'll skip that
John
for now.
Cena sucks. Come on.
All right, my last wrestler on the list, 1998 Bill Goldberg. We're going for the heavy spears and a jackhammer. We're good. Now, a little bit different here, but I loved Cameron's approach on Andre the Giant. I went with a sumo wrestler, just any sumo wrestler.
Okay.
Just any random sumo wrestler to try to push the gorilla over and sit on him. Okay. That was my thought there. Okay. Here's my
Japanese guy. Got it.
Yeah. Here's my one celebrity endorsement. I don't know why I picked him, but Keanu Reeves. I feel like he'd be a great addition to the team.
Okay, I see it.
So are we going John Wick Keanu Reeves or Matrix Keanu Reeves?
I was thinking more John Wick Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
You could go hardball Keanu Reeves where he's drunk and just doesn't care about anything.
I don't think so. My one baseball player I had on the list. This also falls under if weapons are available. Actually, I have 2. Sorry, Paul Skeens. I want him to throw a fastball right at the gorilla's head.
Okay.
And then Carlos Zambrano with a baseball bat.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. One
of my favorite Cubs.
Yep. Because if it's a water cooler, then Zambrano's our guy.
That Gatorade cooler had no chance.
Or David Ortiz if it's a bullpen phone.
That's also true. From the SEC coaching ranks, I have Ed Ogeron.
Okay.
Tigers. Go Tigers. Okay. Our bodybuilder on the team, I have Prime Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I feel like that's kind of a weak pick, bro. He's a movie star.
That's fair. That's okay. My sacrificial lamb is the Old Spice commercial guy. My thought process behind that was because maybe he can distract the gorilla with all the distracting things that he says in the commercials, and the gorilla just gets really frustrated with him, and it distracts him long enough for the others to come swoop in.
Look at your girl. Now back at me. Look at your girl. Now back at me.
I got to say that once again,
I'm on a horse.
Entirely too much thought into this.
Cam is rocking these impressions tonight.
He really is. The next one I put, I don't know what he adds to the team, but I feel like he's perfect for a list of 100. The Dos Equis, most interesting man in the world. Threw him on the list just because.
Okay.
That's an awful pick.
The guy who says, I don't always drink beer, but when I do.
Yeah, that guy. Well, I feel like I'm sure there was a commercial. He was like, I once fought a gorilla and won by myself. Like, I feel like there's that.
Hunter, do you know what Dos Equis translates to?
2 X's.
Wow.
Don't tell me I don't speak Spanish. All right.
How much longer is this list here, guy? We got
only a couple more. Motherfucker Jones from Horrible Bosses.
No, that's an awful pick, dude.
Not sure how much help he could be.
No, all he did in the movie was give advice, and it was bad.
Yeah, you could also bring in the guy who tried to pee on him. Yeah,
that's true.
We are men looking for a man.
We are men looking for men. All right, I got
stored in rather large amount.
I'm trying to think. Did we already mention Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, if he'll do that to his own face, imagine what he'll do to somebody else's.
Okay, so I had Mike Tyson on the list.
He broke my back.
This is another weird one. I put Jack Black because he starred in a King Kong movie.
What?
Exactly.
That's your sumo wrestler.
Sure, that's fine. He can pair with a sumo wrestler. Jack Black, because he was in Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Hunter's like Jack Black from The Holiday.
No, not that Jack Black from.
We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah,
right
you
now.
literally just went through the channel guide, and we're like, oh yeah, this one.
No, it's 100
people. Like a
people.
movie character, you got to pick like Denzel from The Equalizer.
It's 100 people. Three more, and I'm done. I'll take any drunk SEC fan after a bad loss to like Kentucky or Mississippi State. I feel like they would at least be good.
I'd rather have a Dodgers or Giants fan.
That's any drunk sports fan will do there. The last one I have here, Hank Williams Jr. Don't know why. Just thought he'd be a fun one to add to the team.
All right, you're about done.
And then my last one, he's technically a UFC guy, but he's also a WWE guy. Ken Shamrock in his prime.
See,
I'll take
not
it.
about Ken Shamrock.
This is a mess.
You're cut off from Nighttime Coffee, dude.
Like, if you're gonna take somebody
No
from a
mojo.
movie, like Liam Neeson from Taken, maybe, you know, like somebody who's gonna
also
go crazy.
Well, I thought about Vin Diesel,
Yeah,
but
you could
he's only
have
really a
picked someone with a
film
particular set of skills.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that killed Harambe? That seems like a logical pick here.
Oh, that's a good one.
I don't know, some dude with a gun in Cincinnati.
It
thought we
seems
said-
like he would be the most.
We're
qualified.
on to Cincinnati.
I thought we said weapons aren't allowed.
All I'm saying is he's got experience killing monkeys.
Okay. That's
What's
fair.
next?
All right. Well,
That was one of our more interesting.
Well, you know, I wanted to hear everybody's thoughts. Apparently, mine are the worst.
Well,
so.
it turned into the draft. You
Yeah.
had 7 rounds of people,
Yeah, it was okay until there were 17 of them.
That thing took a real turn at John Cena.
Hey, don't.
Took a left.
We don't. Jordan's the only John Cena hater on this podcast.
That's
Okay.
not true. I hate heel John Cena. That's much different.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
John Cena sucks.
don't say that.
John Cena sucks.
Cameron gets it.
Cameron doesn't get it. He doesn't watch wrestling.
He gets it.
No, he doesn't. All right.
That ain't real wrestling.
Yeah, it gotta be real. It ain't. What do you mean it ain't real? All right. The only other topic that I had outside of 100 humans versus 1 gorilla, which our team was doing really good until I spoke.
Everybody took like 4, and then Hunter took the other 88.
Yep.
Full
Oh,
disclosure,
can my
I wrote
can my
nothing down.
sacrificial lamb be Orlando Arcia?
Could be, yeah.
That dude sucks at baseball, man.
So what's
Hunter,
the
what do
plan for the draft talk?
All right, Hunter, what are we doing?
That is the other question that I had. So we had our 100 humans versus a gorilla. And
Wait, the other question is a question about what we're going to do on the pod?
no.
Oh, okay.
Usually, yes.
Obviously, the NFL draft happened this past weekend.
It did?
A lot of things happened. And Zach did a fantastic job with his mock draft. And I wanted Zach to kind of steer us in a discussion and everybody share their thoughts on the aftermath of what will definitely be one of the most memorable NFL drafts of all time. Probably for the wrong reasons, but we'll just go from there. Zach, give me your initial thoughts on the whole ordeal of the NFL draft, wherever you want to start. Lead us and take it away.
I also want to know how accurate Zach's first-round picks were, because they're usually pretty close, some of them.
Yeah, I usually the first 2 to 6 are usually fairly good. Then there's usually a pretty rough gap in there, and then I steal a few at the end. So, you know, I was just gonna read every pick like Hunter would. Is that what we're doing?
Great call.
Zach, can I give you my quick takeaway just from?
Please, I do not have to steer this conversation. We can talk about whatever we want. You go for it.
My quick takeaway, obviously everyone was talking about Shedeur Sanders. My quick takeaway from the Browns was, you know, they are notorious for having just quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. The
40 since 1999.
The jersey with all of the names is such a huge meme. This is the quickest that they have ever given up on a quarterback.
Yeah, 2 rounds in the draft.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is they could have had Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders if they really wanted to.
I feel really bad for Dylan Gabriel, man, because that locker room's already decided that Shedeur's their guy. Like,
I don't know that they have.
There were several Browns tweeting about Shedeur Sanders that were not tweeting about Dylan Gabriel.
I guess they'll have to wait and see.
Dylan Gabriel sort of feels like a lifetime NFL backup quarterback.
Good news is they're both going to get beat out by Joe Flacco anyway.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel.
I would put money on Flacco starting week 1.
Is Watson hurt, or is he just still doing Deshaun Watson things?
They paid him. He's going to be on that team for a while.
He's terrible.
Yeah, but is he hurt? Like, is there a
he
bona fide reason
did
to not
tear
play?
his Achilles. Yeah. He did tear his Achilles. So
couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah, no, Zach, I agree I agree with you. I think Dylan Gabriel just screams like Duck Hodges to me.
Yeah.
Like-
Kellen Moore. I know they're both left-handed, so that's an easy comp, but it just kind of
sure.
feels that way. Yeah, the talk was all about Shedeur, which, I mean, it was definitely surprising that he didn't go in the first or second round, but it wasn't when he was sliding on day one. That didn't blow my mind because I had him going 21 to Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't real stunned there. But then once you're not in the first 2 to 5 picks of round 2, like obviously you're a backup, you're viewed as a backup quarterback. So it made sense to me after that he kept going.
Yep.
You know, so it wasn't so much that
seeing Gabriel go before him was a little surprising though to the same team.
Well, to the same team, yeah. Cleveland's going to Cleveland. I mean, we all know that.
Browns going to Browns, baby.
But I don't know. I don't think Cleveland had a terrible draft by any means. I think they got some good players and they accumulated a lot of picks from Jacksonville and they get their first round.
I really like the way they handled that first round.
I do too. They trade back to 5. They didn't trade back to 20. That would have been different.
And got a guy that, was always going to be their pick. Maybe they go Carter or something but
they easily got the best interior D lineman of the draft, and maybe just the best pure D lineman, Abdul Carter probably. But
imagine losing a trade on draft day with the Browns.
Yeah,
and I think the Browns won the trade.
I do. Here's what I agree. I definitely agree with for Cleveland here. Drafting Travis Hunter at 2 does not make you a playoff team this year. So if that's not the case, you can accumulate a first-round pick from Jacksonville, who might still be pretty bad next year, and that puts you in the top whatever. So there's going to be some quarterbacks available. And then 2, they honestly, if you don't have any quarterbacks, accumulate quarterbacks. And they've got 5, and which sounds crazy, but they will be the team that when inevitably quarterbacks get hurt, they are going to be the team that everybody calls, and then the price goes up.
They're cutting one of those guys before camp's over, though, right?
No, yeah.
They're cutting Kenny Pickett.
Pickett's going to be a trade piece. Flacco would be a trade. Like anybody that needs a starter as an emergency, or you had somebody get hurt, or when Tua has a concussion, you know what I mean? Like you're going to go
a quarterback now too, though, right?
Well, that's true. But just for example, if somebody were to get hurt, that's unexpected, they will be a team people will call because they have 5 of them, and 5. That's obviously somebody's not going to make
what I do in fantasy football with running backs.
Exactly.
This is exactly what is happening in their quarterback room.
Yeah, it's a mess. I mean, they've got Flacco, Watson,
Gabriel, Sanders,
Shedeur, Sanders,
and none of them are good.
And they're all terrible.
It's crazy. And so when you're in a division with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati, you're not going to be that one. Travis Hunter's not going to win you that division anyway.
No.
So I don't mind them accumulating some picks, still getting Mason Graham, who's really good. Pair him with Myles Garrett. That's a good D-line.
The reality is, though, the Bengals proved for like 10 years that you could make the playoffs in that division with Andy Dalton at quarterback. So,
well, but Andy Dalton's was better than.
Well, whatever. I know, but I'm just saying, if one of those guys pans out, they could make the playoffs.
Yeah, and so with Baltimore having Lamar and Cincy having Joe Burrow and Pittsburgh always being relevant, whatever their quarterback situation is. Yeah. Cleveland still
nobody picked Mike Tomlin in the fight versus the gorilla.
Yeah, right. He'd be.
He would just
Dan Campbell.
He would just coach everyone to
motivate the hell out of you.
Yeah, winning season.
But I got Cam Ward and Travis Hunter and I think Abdul Carter. I had those 3 going 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I did have Will Campbell also going to New England. So,
dude, how about the first round the Giants had?
I love it.
Abdul Carter and I said months ago I thought Jackson Dart was the best quarterback in this draft.
Well, and apparently that was who they had their eye on the whole time.
Yeah.
And so it's a chess game trying to wait to see who's going to trade up. New Orleans didn't want to get back into the first round. And Cleveland decided not to as well. So the Giants were like, hey,
who did New Orleans end up taking? What quarterback? Did they take Tyler Shuck?
They did.
They did, yeah.
That screams we are playing for a chance to draft a quarterback next year.
We are playing for Arch Manning.
Yeah.
As soon as New Orleans took Banks, which was a great pick at 9, best player available, you just have to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
As soon as they did that, I knew Shedeur was dropping because no one else was ready to. No one until Pittsburgh at 21.
Yeah, I really thought 21 was going to be the spot, not day 3.
And then when they went Derek Harmon, it's like, okay, nobody wants this guy.
No.
Like they don't want this guy. So good for the Giants for trading back in at 25 for Dart. I think that's really good for them. He fits what they're trying to do better. I think
don't
also
give him the Daniel Jones treatment.
If we're talking about QB rooms that are a mess, the New York Giants have a QB room that is a mess, in my opinion.
I mean, they will have a trade piece offer as well.
Before I talk about that, I mean, I thought it was great as a enemy of Jackson Dart, I guess, as a Mississippi State fan. That dude always pissed me off from the standpoint of he's so freaking good. I wish we had a quarterback like that. Very good quarterback. I thought he was a first-round guy. I didn't think he was a top 10 pick. I think there were some mock drafts that had him that high. I didn't think so. As soon as the Giants traded him, and then I think Zach put our group chat on Twitter because all of us were like, oh, they're definitely going to take Jackson Dart here. There's no way they take Shedeur. And I thought the whole time they were taking Jackson Dart, and they did. I thought it was great for them. Now the real question is who is their week 1 starter? Because they have Jameis Winston. They have Russell Wilson. They have Tommy DeVito for the Italians, and then Jackson Dart. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do there
for week 1, but it'll be Dart's job by week 5.
Well, and Jameis is a good backup to have.
Yeah.
I mean, because he can fit into really any situation. Dart will probably start as their emergency third. Honestly.
That to me, Zach, is the first call when somebody needs a backup quarterback is Jameis Winston.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Oh,
See what you can get for him.
Yeah. Over under week 6.5 that Jackson Dart starts his first game.
Under being week 3, 4, 5?
It's interesting there because he's going to start as the number 3. So, Jameis will be the 2.
Here's the thing, though, that I like about it. I think I like Jackson Dart's situation better than Cam Ward's because we know Cam Ward is going to be the week 1 starter for the Tennessee Titans. I don't know how that O-line is going to stack up for him and protect
the Titans, him. Cam Ward is a rookie. Let me throw that out there. Is not going to be near enough for what the Titans need. He is not going to Jaden Daniels that thing and walk in there and make them significantly better. He's going to be. They're lucky they got a guy that can run a little bit because he's going to be throwing from his back a lot.
Right, and so that's why I think I like Dart's situation better is because say what you want to say about Russ these past couple of years, but Super Bowl winning quarterback. Jameis Winston, he's been in the league for a long time. Obviously, he's hilarious. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure if Jameis wants to get serious about football, he can get serious about football and mentor this kid. I think Jackson Dart's in a much, much better situation to have longevity and actually take over that job and stay as a starting quarterback for the New York Giants as opposed to Cam Ward. Now, I love Cam Ward. I think he is an absolute dog. I hope it works out for him in Nashville. But I don't know if he's going to get just beat up to the point where he just gets run out of the league.
Is he the least talked about number 1 overall pick ever?
Yes,
I was disappointed in that.
Yes.
ESPN just immediately was mad Shedeur wasn't 1 and just didn't even talk about Cam Ward.
I felt like Mel Kiper, when he and I guess was it McShay where they went at each other for a few minutes there?
It was Kiper.
I mean, Kiper went at it with everybody, dude.
But Kiper was the one accurate thing that he said was these NFL teams have been misevaluating quarterbacks for 50 years. Nobody knows how to evaluate quarterbacks. That's accurate. I think drafting quarterbacks is the hardest thing in professional sports to draft because it's such an inexact science.
There's some glaring examples of teams getting it right too, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
but like Ryan Leaf is a number 2 overall pick, and Tom Brady's a 6th or 7th rounder. Like, it's so inexact. Shedeur Sanders is a 5th round pick, could very well be the quarterback of this draft. But the one thing that Mel Kiper followed it up with was that he knows how to evaluate quarterbacks better than NFL GMs. No, you don't, buddy. The tape shows it.
Cam Ward was very deserving to be the number 1 pick.
Agreed.
Everything I've read about Cam Ward, he's like a model citizen too.
And he's got an NFL arm. He can make the throws. He's athletic enough, and he will be like, if they can get a situation around him, they've got a coaching staff that can work with quarterbacks. So I'm very confident that they will get that sorted out. Yeah, they need some more pieces, but that's what happens when you're the number 1 overall pick, because you're going to a team that's not very good. So you need
also a little early, but hang a banner for the transfer portal, because if that dude doesn't leave Incarnate Word,
what a story.
Yeah.
0-star recruit. Can I say my piece on Shedeur and Mel Kiper real quick?
Sure.
Since we've already talked about it a little bit. My thing about Shedeur is that there's been both sides of, the narrative come out of that, how, it was like a collusion, that the NFL was against him. That's why he slid so far down. And then there's the other side of the coin where it's like, well, coming out of high school, he was a 3-star kid. He committed to Florida Atlantic, and then his dad gets the job at Jackson State, so then he goes and plays for his dad. I think the biggest thing with Shedeur Sanders is not his talent. I think he's a very talented quarterback. I think it's his attitude and the way he carries himself. Because to me, when you see these pre-draft things come out of the reports about how he was unprofessional in his interviews and he really didn't care about teams and markets that he didn't want to play in, and all these reports, some of them were wildly false. But then there's some that kind of came out that were more concrete, and you're like, well, maybe that is true. And then he starts sliding, and then he keeps going, and he keeps going, and keeps going. That, to me, tells me that he actually was very, bad in these interviews and unprofessional. And I think that stems from the fact that this is a kid who has never played at a serious level of football. Because to me, when I talk serious sports, it starts in high school to me. Like, junior high is kind of important, but it's not really serious. When you start high school sports, that's serious. He has played for no other head coach except for his father. And so that can be a good thing. But I think with his father being Deion Sanders and the personality that he is, it's made it a bad thing. And so I think that this is his opportunity to prove us all wrong. But I think the reason for him sliding wasn't his talent. It was the way he carried himself leading into this draft. And I think that it was justified for him to fall that far.
I want to interject for 1 second there.
Go ahead.
And you guys know that I have not been on the Shedeur Sanders train at any point in the last 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to say this. I thought the single most mature thing that I saw from Shedeur Sanders that I maybe have ever seen from him was how he handled falling in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Or right? How he handled that prank call.
The prank call, Hunter and I talked about this. I don't care who it is. That's not cool, man. That's just not cool.
But he was like, hey, people make mistakes. Like, he handled that so maturely. I mean, unbelievably maturely.
We've heard all these things about how immature he is, how bad of an interview he was, blah, blah, blah. Well, all of a sudden he's sliding, continuing to slide in the draft, day 2, day 3. And now the story is, okay, well, he handled falling really well, and he handled the phone call, the prank phone call, really well. All of a sudden, those things look like, oh, that's a guy that we want to have as a quarterback.
Well,
I think talent-wise, he's light years more talented than Dylan Gabriel by far. I think that the way he handled those situations, maybe he needed to be humbled. Maybe that is his wake-up call. Maybe that is what lights the fire under him from here out. Menzel and those guys needed it too. They just got it in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was going to say, can I play devil's advocate here? Because, you mentioned that, maybe he needed to get humbled. And, my point was going to be, did he really have a choice to take, to take that criticism any differently than what he did? I mean, him falling in the draft and the prank call and all that stuff, he couldn't really react any other way. I think he saw the writing on the wall, like, oh, I'm getting humbled right now.
I mean, he could have.
Well, he could have, but then he just would have gone undrafted. I think he realized, like, oh, like, I need to straighten up or this is gonna end poorly. He didn't really have a choice. Like, everything
it's
about
hard to make that choice in the moment. I think it would have been very easy to let emotion take over those situations, and he didn't.
Well, yeah, but he knew that the cameras were on him, and he knew
he knew the cameras were on him when he asked Cam Ward if he wanted to make a rap song with him too.
That was a great response that nobody is talking about on a national media standpoint of how Cam Ward was like, I'm a football player. I play football. And Shedeur's like, no, come on, dude. Let's make a rap song together.
I hate that Shedeur became the story of the draft because I don't know that anyone that's watched college football for the last 2 years outside of Deion Sanders thought that he was going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft.
Well, okay, so I guess I come back to this. His off the field stuff, the NFL overlooks that if you're good.
Correct.
If you are that good, they deal with it. They just do. They always have.
You're telling me this guy's cockier than Johnny Manziel, who also had a drinking problem at the time?
His dad is the perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
You dealt with the crazy because he was the best corner to ever live.
Yep.
The reason you're not a top 5 pick is because you're not good enough to be a top 5 pick.
The story with Deion is
NFL spoke when it came to that.
Yeah,
because if they viewed him that way, he would have been drafted no matter the circus.
It
does not matter what
it's
your
the same
circus
idea
is
as
if you're
like,
good.
Yeah, it's the same idea as like Bronny James. Like, and there wasn't a lot of pressure on teams to draft Bronny James in like the top 5, but it's the same idea as,
Lonzo Ball.
No, that's a completely different thing. I mean,
I think yeah, I'm agreeing with Cameron.
Lonzo Ball had real first round talent that he displayed in college. Bronny James absolutely did not.
I mean Lonzo Ball and Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, well, I'm just talking about Bronny here. I would say the Lonzo to Shedeur, that's a closer comparison, but Lonzo still, I think, showed way more skill in his sport compared to Shedeur Sanders.
But in the NFL in particular, there are so many examples of, you know what, we're going to just accept you being insane
1,000%.
because you're going to win us games.
Deshaun Watson's on a roster, dude.
Only because you win. That's all that matters.
I mean, do we
all that matters.
Laramie Tunsil on draft night?
Yes.
He only fell like 10 spots. Miami was like, hell yeah, let's go.
Like, the Jets wanted Aaron Rodgers because he's Aaron Rodgers and was a really good football player.
Yeah.
It didn't turn out that way, but you were going to deal with all of his nonsense. Brett Favre kept retiring and retiring and retiring. It didn't matter. Green Bay was going to have him come back because he was really good.
The thing to me is Deion, like there are stories that have been, corroborated, but like Deion legitimately told teams, oh, you're picking at 10, you're picking at 12. I'm not going to be there by the time you're picking, dude. And Deion had that kind of talent.
Yeah. No.
Shedeur has never had that kind of talent.
And so I don't think the Shedeur circus is what caused him to not be drafted in round 1 or 2. I think the circus is why he slid from round 3 to round 5.
I think he was always going to be a fourth round pick at best. I said that
because now the circus matters when you're talking about a backup quarterback. I don't want that circus if you're my backup.
No.
If you're my starter and you're winning me games, I deal with it. But I don't want more cameras on you if you're QB3. So then the circus matters, and I think that's why he kept dropping. But him not being drafted first or second round, I think it was just because he was not a first or second round talent. I think that's what it was. Otherwise, Pittsburgh would have taken him at 21. New Orleans would have taken him at 9. So that's kind of how I view that. I don't think it.
I am curious
the
how much of the
circus until later.
slide had to do with Dion as well.
Well, and he's part of the circus. I
because
mean,
now
the Sanders family, that becomes a thing. And if you're the third string quarterback, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I just don't.
But now there's these tweets resurfacing from Dion about, dogging quarterbacks that are going to Cleveland in the draft. There's, Dion saying things publicly like, Shedeur doesn't take a back seat to anybody. Like, I'm just not messing with that if I'm an NFL team, man. Again, if you're Cam Ward, okay, I might do that, but you're not.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
He was always going to be a fourth or fifth round pick to me.
No. I actually thought Pittsburgh would take him at 21, but what that tells me is they're probably going to sign Aaron Rodgers.
That's 100% what that tells me. 100%.
So, that's kind of how I feel. They're like they just took another defensive player. It's like, okay, all right, well, you guys are going to continue to play defense, and you'll go sign another free agent quarterback, and you'll just keep being Pittsburgh. But
also, wait for Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin, dude. That's going to be cinema.
But otherwise, I mean, Jacksonville trading up was a big stunner to go get Travis Hunter. Genty at 6 to the Raiders is an interesting pick. I think. I tweeted something out that their weapons are so Geno's the QB, Genty's their running back, and their best pass catchers Brock Bowers. That's a nice little trio to have there in Vegas. So when Pete Carroll's their 150-year-old head coach. So
Zach, what do you think of your Cowboys in the first round?
It's very Cowboys of them to pick a lineman in round 1.
Yeah, but they just had 2 linemen retire, right?
Yeah, I mean there was an absolute need. They now have 3 Tylers on the offensive line, which is very funny. But because they were picking at 12, McMillan had already gone, Genty had already gone. So your top weapons of choice at receiver and running back were gone.
Yep.
So to me, you had to go lineman because otherwise you would have been reaching for probably almost anybody else. So I don't hate what Dallas did, actually. I do think they need to figure out something in free agency. They're going to have to go sign a couple more playmakers. CD needs a little bit more help at receiver. Yeah. But I don't like reaching for players because you need to fill a need. I am much more an advocate of who's the best player on the board, let's take him. So I thought Dallas did that. I think Tyler Booker's very good. So I think
they got crushed on Twitter for that pick, but I think that pick makes a lot of sense.
It's very Dallas. I mean, it's very Dallas, but I mean, you have your quarterback. They don't really have a running back. They've signed a few. They ended up taking the Texas kid later.
Yeah.
In the draft. So I don't hate that pick, but they needed to rebuild up front. We've had to move on from Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and the previous regime up front. So you got to get younger and good on the O-line. And I actually think they're going to have a pretty decent offensive line this year. So we'll see. They just need to go get some weapons there. But otherwise, I thought that was good. I thought Chicago had a really good draft. And I thought the Giants had a really good draft. So
I think my favorite pick of the first round was Jahdae Barron to Denver. I think he is going to light it up for Denver.
Oh, at 20. Yeah.
I thought that was a really good pick for them.
That's a good combo pairing with in that secondary with Pat Surtain. I like that secondary they got going.
They're both young.
That's good. I also really love Emeka Egbuka to Tampa.
Me too.
I think that's a fantastic pick. I would have maybe liked to see Dallas draft him, but that would have been about as much of a reach as I would have wanted at 12.
I don't know who the odd man out is going to be, but Baker Mayfield's never had this many solid targets.
He's loaded with talent. And, they're going to have Godwin's coming back from the injury, so we'll see.
He's always coming back from an injury.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But they're going to have some weapons in Tampa.
How about the Ohio State running back duo getting drafted within like 3 or 4 picks of each other?
Was it back to back? Or no, it wasn't back.
Trevion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah,
I think Judkins went first, and then
Yeah.
2 or 3
That's
picks
right.
later.
That's right.
Well,
intercepted.
Judkins went to the toilet because I think he was taking a shit when they picked him.
That's
So great.
the best,
so
dude.
great.
Dude, that was amazing.
He came back and he was like, oh, hi.
Hi.
That's
all
right,
of the side stories on draft day, like Kelvin Banks, his kid throwing up, all those little baby throwing up all over him. Hilarious. Who is the guy where the dog was all excited with him?
Oh, that was Tyler Shuck,
Was it?
however you say his name.
Freaking hilarious, dude. I love that kind of stuff. And I always love to watch the girlfriends that think that they got it made for life.
The girlfriends is the best part of the draft.
CD Lamb taking the girlfriend's cell phone away.
God,
Like, give me my phone back.
That was so good. I loved it. I loved it. I also thought like Chicago going tight end. I thought they went with the other tight end. I thought who's the kid I'm thinking of? They took the Michigan kid, right?
They took Loveland. They didn't take Tyler Warren.
Warren went to Indy, which is so perfect for the Colts.
And he's
if it's a tight end, you're probably thinking about the Rams.
Yeah.
The Rams love them some tight ends, man.
Yes, they do.
And
Sean McVay loves the tight end.
I'll be honest here, man. As a Rams fan, I was watching this draft purely to see where Shedeur Sanders got drafted because the Rams do not care about the draft. I'm just convinced. They hate draft picks.
Okay, so my projection was that the Giants would trade back into the first round to get Jackson Dart. I was right about that. I was one pick off. I thought they'd trade with the Rams because I thought the Rams were like, you know what? I don't care. It's first round. We don't need a pick. We haven't had one in like 10 years. Like, we're just going to. I thought for sure they would trade out.
I wanted the Rams to get Will Johnson so bad, and we got another damn tight end.
Will Johnson went a lot later than I thought he would.
I did. I mean, he got injured. I get it. He was injured, but he is so very clearly the best corner in the draft. And the Rams need a corner. I was dying for them to draft him.
He went 47 to Arizona. And when LA traded up to 46 to that 14th pick in the second round, I thought
we were getting it.
And they drafted the Oregon tight end.
God. I can't stand it.
Love tight ends. But the Bears also got Luther Burden from Missouri, the receiver.
Yep.
God, I just remember Luther Burden running all over Abilene Christian a few years
Jordan
ago.
and I were in attendance for that game in Columbia.
Yep.
Ben Johnson just needs weapons. He just wants weapons in Chicago. So
wasn't that the game that ACU took a fair catch at the one?
Yep.
Sure was.
Also, I did not appreciate ESPN for Luther Burden's highlight reel when he got drafted. Like 8 of his 9 highlights were against Mississippi State. That was rude and uncalled for.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot.
Yeah, bro.
Like he had good games against other teams. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, but see, you're putting those packages together quickly because you got like a million dudes you got to put a package for, and they're like, oh, I can just keep pulling from this game. Okay, I'll just do that.
The thing on Texas Twitter has been: is Arch Manning actually good, or has he like actually done anything? And every clip that they have to show is against Mississippi State.
Fuck you. Now, I always wonder too, Zach. Do you know like how many people do they have to throw together highlight packages?
Well, yeah. I mean the networks.
That's got to be insane, right?
Well, you got to get the graphic up really quick, and so it just it takes hundreds of people to do it. I mean,
that would be a fun place to be, like the production room of ESPN for the NFL.
I feel like that would be like the floor of Wall Street or something like that. You know what I mean?
Was it this group chat that somebody sent the guy making the jerseys for the draft?
That is cool.
Freaking awesome, dude.
I mean, they just have the names ready to go, and
yes.
All right, here we go, and then they just.
It was like a little minute and a half long video, but like that
we have like 20 seconds to do this.
I made the joke to Kat. She was like, "How do they get the jersey perfect every time?" I was like, "Well, look how long the hallway is. They have to walk down. Like they have an hour."
They do kind of, and then so when the pick gets turned in, that's who it's getting turned into.
Yeah,
it's not even. I mean, yes, you have to formally submit it to the NFL,
right?
But you're turning it into the people making the jersey and the TV networks. Like that's what you're doing, and your social media department.
Well, and that's why the pick is in pops up 2 whole minutes before
Yeah,
anybody's
you
on
have-
stage.
Yeah, there were.
gotta give 'em
Can we? Yeah, ESPN. Can we cut the draft down like an hour? Because like now I know it's rich coming from a podcast that always goes long, but
You
like
just rattled off 40 people to fight a gorilla, dude.
I know, but like I still did it faster than the NFL draft because legitimately there was a couple of times they were like the pick is in. We'll come back right after this. And it was like an Applebee's commercial, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like just
Yeah, they
go
only
back
do
to the
that-
draft.
They only do that on day one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of it, they'll just flash up who the pick was. And
Yeah.
you're
But
still on
because
commercial.
it's such a spectacle, like
Mhm.
it's a moneymaker too, man. When I was in Vegas for the golf tournament a couple years ago,
Mhm.
and the draft was in Vegas, I was like, oh, I'm going to go check this out. And then I saw prices and was like, nah, I don't need a seat at the draft for $650.
my whole mom, my entire family on my mom's side,
Your whole mom.
my whole family on my mom's side, which is ironic because my mom hates the Packers, but everybody else on that side, they're all Packer fans. And my uncle, sure enough, he said, "Oh no, we're going to go up." And I said, "Oh, you're going to get tickets?" He goes, "Oh no, we're going to have to sit at a bar and watch."
Yeah.
But we're going to go to Green Bay. I mean, this is crazy prices.
I
to try to
drove
stand in
down the Vegas Strip on night 1 of the NFL draft, and I was going to go gamble a little bit just to say I gambled in Vegas. And literally the traffic, dude, I was like, nah, I'm just going to go back to the hotel because this straight up sucks.
God.
Yeah.
I thought it looked like Green Bay would put on a hell of a show, though.
I was a little bit like when they announced the draft was going to be in Green Bay. I was like, ooh, I don't
In April,
Green
you
Bay
never
in April.
know.
I don't know about that.
You never know in April up here, boys.
People showed up, man.
No, they really did. And how about them drafting a receiver in the first round for the
Love it.
first time since 2002?
Love it. They're
I love how
loaded
he
at
said
receiver
that
too.
in the pick announcement. He's like, for the first time since 2002.
And they're young at receiver. They had one of the youngest rosters in the NFL last year, and then their first round pick is going to be the receiver. They're very, very young.
Clay
Also-
Matthews opening the draft was outstanding.
Oh yeah.
That was hilarious.
My favorite was everybody being so confused why they were all on bicycles. And
Yeah.
I was like, no, they do that for their training camp. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is kind of dumb.
Hunter, I know you appreciated Seth Rollins.
Oh yeah, I did appreciate Seth Rollins. That was fantastic.
That was good.
Great troll job there. I also appreciate you in our last podcast talk about how was it Matt Golden? Is that his name? The dude they drafted the Packers.
Yeah.
I love how Harrod was like, "Yeah, I'm excited for Texas this year because Arch has guys that can run fast and catch the ball because Golden would drop it all the time." I was like, "Oh, look, first round
Golden
draft."
was
pick
more
there.
reliable than Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond was a track star. He would beat everybody to the end zone. And then when Quinny Muffins actually got him the ball, just right through the hands.
There you go. How about that? Were you surprised that he went that late, Jordan?
Yeah. To me, Quinn's not. He's got a big arm, but, man, he hasn't really played a true NFL style offense. His accuracy is never. He'll make a throw that you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's a next level throw, and then he'll rattle off 17 in a row that you're like, dude, who are you throwing the ball to?
Right.
So, and then he went to Miami. Like that's where quarterback dreams go to die. I'm rooting for him because he's Quinn, But I don't. He's Colt McCoy to me at best in the NFL.
And then Jalen Milroe went to Seattle, and I had forgotten that he entered the draft.
Who's the Seattle coach these days?
Is it
not Pete Carroll?
No.
Is
Callahan's in Tennessee, right? Brian Callahan?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, hold on. What's this guy's name?
You look that up. I'm gonna say my piece about Mel Kiper because I never said
Jalen
it.
Milroe
Mike McDonald.
Jalen Milroe seems like the most Seahawks pick ever to me.
Mike McDonald was the D coordinator for the Ravens from 2022 to 2023. So a defensive guy.
Okay.
The Colorado Rockies just lost another baseball game, by the way.
At Landon.
That's
sorry, Landon.
Gosh dang it. Now they're on pace for 22 wins.
And then I was going to give a shout out to my running back.
Okay.
I was going to give a shout out to my boy Caleb Johnson, the Iowa running back, who is going to wear the same jersey in Pittsburgh, and then and he will probably start. Like he's going to get a ton of playing time at Pittsburgh. And then I was going to give a shout out to the Iowa State receivers who both went to Houston, which I thought was interesting that they drafted both of them. So,
dude, maybe the coolest moment of the draft is Warren Moon just being like, "No, Cam Ward, you're gonna wear number 1." That's freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then Lawrence Taylor straight up told Abdul Carter, ain't gonna happen.
No, you don't get 56. How have the Giants allowed anybody to wear that number?
Well, I think that what I read anyway was the front office told him you're not getting that number.
Maybe it's like unofficially like nobody wears this.
Maybe if he was Lawrence Sanders.
Oh, yeah. I saw the tweet of draft day to me was hypothetically, if Shedeur went back to college, would he have to wear a different jersey number now?
Then they would retire his second jersey number, and he'd be the first person ever to have 2 different numbers retired.
Somebody said he should go back and transfer.
Well, there was somebody that pitched him filing a waiver with the NCAA if he went undrafted to go back to college, which, I mean, I think that has happened before, but, like,
it's weird. It's weird. I don't want to see that.
There's no rules anymore. Why does he need to file
a
waiver?
That's if anybody could do it.
Yeah, that's true. I'm about to say, the NCAA probably wouldn't even sign off on a waiver. They would just do it.
Nobody. I will say the one tweet that didn't get any traction that I thought was funny was when the Falcons drafted the kid from Georgia. And they said they're like, oh, we don't have to send a plane to go get him. We can send a car. And I was like, well, you should probably send a driver too.
Yeah,
I thought that was good. You know,
really
didn't
good.
get anything.
I've said this before on this podcast. I do not know how Uber and Georgia haven't just leaned into the easiest NIL deal of all time.
I mean, it would be.
It's right there.
It is right there. They can even put Uber on the jerseys too, like
Triple A.
Yeah.
Something.
Just lean into
Also,
it.
Crime stoppers.
Uber patch right above the breastplate.
Yes. Just
that'd
do
be
that.
so amazing.
You can play for Georgia. You know you're going to make a pretty deep CFP run. You're probably going to be an SEC champion. You can come here and party your ass off, and it's completely fine. We don't care.
Yep. Dedicated
just
Uber
stop
drivers
pretending
for the
that you care
football
about it. Just lean in. Be the villain.
It's like that one episode of Blue Mountain State where everybody got a nerd to do their homework. Everybody at Georgia just gets an Uber driver. Like, he's assigned to you.
This is too easy, dude.
Too easy.
And then I had a couple notes about the Giants. Cam Scattaboo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he needs to be on our gorilla fighting team.
4th round to the Giants.
That's a great pick for them, dude.
I know they had a good draft. They actually had a good draft.
Really good draft.
I know. I mean, he's no Saquon, so everybody's still trying to recover from them getting rid of Saquon. But
Saquon been in the news a little bit himself.
Saquon wasn't going to make a difference in New York last year. They were terrible.
No.
But no, sneaky good pick there. And then everybody is. I find this so frustrating because it's just wrong. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, the Giants did it again. They drafted another Ole Miss quarterback, and he's going to be there for a long time." And
well, Giants didn't draft the Ole Miss quarterback before.
I was like, they didn't draft Eli.
Right.
The Chargers drafted Eli.
And it was the SEC Network did it.
Yes.
Like, holy shit. Is there not one person at the SEC Network that knows your history of the conference?
A very famous draft.
Very famous.
Also, a
whole ordeal was famous.
Two-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. You got to get
one
that
of
one
your
right.
best quarterback draft classes
Yes.
of all time. And your top 2 picks, Eli, like he's pissed while he's holding up the Chargers jersey. Like, that's a very memorable.
The beginning of Eli Manning face.
He was not drafted by the Giants.
No.
He just was not. Very.
The social media intern for the SEC Network, that's a strike 1 on you.
God, so dumb.
Actually, it's strike 2 because of the softball thing that Cameron talked about a few weeks ago.
Yes. Well, no, that was Tennessee softball Twitter account. That wasn't
the SEC.
That's fair. My one thing, though, I want to ask this question. Does it matter about quarterbacks and weather? Because, like, that to me was one of the dumbest things that Mel Kiper said. Out of all the dumb things he said, after the Saints drafted Banks and they didn't draft Shedeur, he was like, oh, I thought the Saints were a perfect fit. It's in a dome. Weather's not going to be an issue. like to me, like that makes sense, but also too, he has to play games outdoors, and there's chances he could play a playoff game in sub-zero temperature.
Pretty
Like,
good chances.
why does that matter?
Yeah, well, and also whoever you draft is not going to have
Exactly.
Whoever you draft is going to play in a dome. Like
Exactly. That was such a dumb thing. He was like, "Oh, it's a perfect fit. They play in a dome." Like, well, yeah, if they draft Dylan Gabriel or they draft Jackson Dart, they're also playing in a dome. Who gives a shit?
I want to throw this part out there for weather. When I was in college, our baseball coach would always tell guys, if you want to play at the next level, if you want to play in the major leagues one day, don't come complain to me because it's cold. Because where are you going to play if you play in the major leagues? Seattle, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Denver. It's freaking cold, dude. Most of them are cold cities.
Well, and if you want to play when it matters most, it's cold there in October. Yeah.
I would say the same thing applies here. I've never in my life heard a player say they didn't want to go somewhere because of the cold weather.
I've heard one, John Elway.
They might think it, but I've never heard anybody say it.
Yeah, they might think. Well, I think John Elway said it, and he ends up going to Denver anyway. I don't know. I just think.
And how did John Elway's Denver career fare? Pretty freaking good.
Pretty freaking good. I don't know. It's just so dumb to me. It's like the dumbest excuse ever.
Nobody wants to go play quarterback in Green Bay or Minnesota.
I mean, if that's the case, I know kickers don't get drafted, but I mean, wow, let's use that excuse for kickers too. Oh, he'd be a perfect fit for this team. He's kicking in the dome. No fucking shit.
Mel Kiper was so distracted by the Shedeur Sanders love fest that he forgot everything else that he was supposed to know on television.
And there's with the weather thing, like I do think Kurt Warner was better when he played inside versus when he had to go play up in New York.
But aren't most guys better?
So was
the weather's
Peyton Manning when he didn't want to go to New England when it was
snowing. And here's the thing. The best quarterback of all time played in Foxborough for 20 straight years.
Yeah, like
look at the list of the best quarterbacks of all time, by the way. Tom Brady, John Elway, Brett Favre, like
Mahomes.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? I don't know. It was stupid.
At some point, you have to probably play a game when in conditions you don't want to play in.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Like you
suck it up, Buttercup. It's the NFL.
That should affect your draft less than 0%.
Exactly. I don't know. It was a dumb thing.
If that's a factor, then to me, a guy like Shedeur Sanders should go much higher because he's quote used to playing in the cold weather.
Yep.
What? Like what?
None of that makes sense.
None of it made sense. I hated it. That was the only thing. Zach, let's wrap it up there. Who do you think won the NFL draft? If you had to pick one team, who won it?
Well, first of all,
no one wins it.
I will be real honest. I think draft grades are the dumbest thing ever.
That's fair.
Can I just say I think it's hilarious that Mel Kiper gave an A+ to the Browns and nobody else.
So good.
Of course he did.
So good. I have never seen someone so upset.
They took two fucking quarterbacks and he gave him an A+.
He was so mad.
He was so fucking pissed.
Grown up Jimmy Neutron was real mad.
Oh my God. He was
Todd.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but on day 3 on Saturday, so first couple of days they had Mike Greenberg was hosting it, that desk. But the third day was Reese Davis because they kind of combined everybody together.
Oh, yeah.
He let him have it. Finally had to be like, Mel, all we're saying is like, he basically told him, dude, you got to shut up.
Yeah.
Like, now we're saying that Shedeur just has to deal with this.
And that was when Mel rattled off, NFL teams don't know how to evaluate quarterbacks, but I do.
Reese was like, what? Shut up.
Yeah.
Like, it was great to see Reese Davis just kind of fire back at him.
Mel was deeply offended.
It was one of the funniest fucking things ever.
It really
but draft
was.
grades are an absolute mess. It is telling me how good your food is before you eat it.
Yeah.
And I've just never understood that. Yeah. I don't know how you evaluate the draft. Like, we should evaluate the draft from last year now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, how'd you do? Washington, you did pretty well. Jaden Daniels is pretty good. So I don't know. I really like what Chicago did. I like what the Giants did. I think there's teams that filled needs really well. I will be very curious to see if Travis Hunter plays both ways
We've talked
in
about
Jacksonville, and I'm just not sure. What do you guys think he's going to try to do that?
I think he'll try. I
They'll
don't
allow
exper-
him to do that?
Yeah, they'll try.
experiment with it.
that'll last maybe a year.
I think he tries in the preseason maybe, and maybe like week 1 or 2, and then by like week 5 he's done with it.
I think for the whole season, honestly, I think he'll do a good bit of both, and then they'll figure out what he's better at in the NFL.
Well, he's not an NFL corner. He doesn't have the size. He doesn't.
Okay, that was my question. What do you think he will play more of?
He'll be a wide receiver, and he'll. Again, I think he's a pretty average guy in a couple of years.
Is this crazy that
the biggest thing that he had going for him in college that led him to winning a Heisman Trophy was a made-up stat about how many snaps he was on the field for? The NFL does not care. He is not an NFL. Listen, if he's just a receiver, is he a first-round pick? If he's just a corner, is he a first-round pick? The answer is probably no on both.
I don't know. To me, his body just doesn't seem like it's going to be NFL corner because, like, he can't. Like, what if him and Derrick Henry meet? He's going to get snapped like a twig. Yeah. Like, I know corners aren't meeting. I know they're not meeting Derrick Henry in the hole, but like corner, you have to tackle. Like
I think
he can't tackle anybody that big.
Outside of Cam Ward, he might be like maybe the nicest kid in the draft. Maybe
true. I will give him that for sure.
But nice doesn't do it in the NFL, man. And this is not the NBA where Kevin Durant can bench 105 pounds and still be one of the best scorers of all time.
And I am very. The comp that people put out there is that he is Shohei Ohtani.
Not even remotely close.
Because he is doing things that we don't see often.
He's doing things that every high school player in America does
in football. And I don't know. I have to see this in order to believe really any of it. But playing both ways at Colorado is just not remotely close to playing both sides of the ball in the NFL.
Which one of those Texans receivers is he going to defend? One-on-one.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, he's going to have to go up against the Colts twice a year, and
the Colts have a good receiving core.
Yeah, they have a pretty good receiving core. I mean, just
T.Y. Hilton's still there?
He's going to look like an absolute stud against Tennessee, against 45-year-old Calvin Ridley.
I'd be curious who Jacksonville has to play this year.
He's going to look amazing against Tyler Lockett in Week 4 when they play the Titans.
Yikes.
I mean, it helps that he's in a terrible division, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think Travis Hunter makes 4-13 Jacksonville a division leading.
I just don't think he's a first-round corner, and I don't think he's a first-round receiver.
I don't think he was worth. I agree with Jordan. What he said. You said at the start of this is that the Browns won that. I don't think he's worth giving up a first-round pick the following year.
He's going to sell some jerseys.
Oh shit, yeah.
But
I did like the Shane Gillis meme or whatever, where it was like Travis Hunter seeing Cleveland trade down and realizing it was Jacksonville. He's like, "Oh fuck!" It's like that was.
But that's a warm weather city, so he'll probably do super well there.
So
not in a dome though. He's not in a dome, so
he's probably going to have to guard Marvin Harrison with the Cardinals because they go to Arizona.
Okay, so he doesn't have the advantage there.
He's going to have to go up against Cincinnati.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Good luck.
Jamar Chase.
Cincinnati.
I can't wait for Jacksonville at Cincinnati on Thursday night football.
Cincinnati that scores 60 points a game and loses 9 of them.
So at San Francisco is interesting. At the Raiders, at the Broncos. They play Kansas City. They play the Chargers. They play Puka and the Rams.
The Rams have a loaded receiving core.
There's a lot of fun ones.
And
there.
apparently they have 8 tight ends.
Seattle, the Jets, Carolina.
Seattle's probably a good matchup for him. Carolina's probably a good matchup for him.
Well, Carolina just took the top kid from Arizona. So
Seattle has Cooper Kupp.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
About that. I just he's not a player that makes you all of a sudden the favorites in that division. You know what I mean? It's just that's what I don't.
They won 4 games last year.
They were 4-13. Yeah.
Okay, so
and they had years with back-to-back number 1 picks.
over under 4.5 wins for Jacksonville this year.
Oof. With that schedule?
Because if it's under, then your number 2 overall draft pick.
It's probably over, but it's probably like 6 wins.
I was gonna say they get 5.
6 might be a stretch.
6 might be a stretch. They might steal one against somebody, but they'll lose to the Colts once.
They're a top 10 picking team again next year. That shows you how effective your number 2 overall pick is.
And they're in a weird spot because they like their quarterback.
Yeah.
Who really hasn't done much in the NFL, unfortunately.
They might not like him after this year. I think this is a big year for him.
I think so too, but they're in just an odd spot where next year the quarterback class is totally different. It's totally different than it was this year. So
I feel like we do this every year. Every year is the year of the quarterback.
Not this year. I really fully don't think anybody thought that this year. To me, this was the year of the D-line and a couple of really stud skill position players. Actually, it was a pretty good running back class.
Quarterback is such a sexy position to draft because everybody knows who they are.
There were 6 quarterbacks last year in the top 12.
Yep.
And Shedeur was the 6th one off the board this year in the 5th round.
Mm-hmm. Right. That was the difference in last year to this
Let's
year.
say Arch doesn't come out next year. Who's the surefire number 1 guy?
It's a good question. I haven't even thought about
Lenore Sellers. He's not going to go number 1.
No, he's not coming
next year.
Nico.
Cade Klubnik.
Definitely Nico.
The way too early. The way
Somebody
too early
Cade
draft
Klubnik
I saw the other day was Cade Klubnik, and then the next one off the board was Carson Beck.
Are those first-round guys?
Carson Beck thinks he is.
QB.
Carson Beck had a first-round girlfriend and fumbled that.
Yeah. QBs potentially to know would be Sellers, Nussmeier, Klubnik, Drew Aller, and Arch Manning.
That's a shitty quarterback draft.
I was about to say, I will wager right now with anybody that wants to that next year's highest drafted quarterback won't be any of those guys.
It all depends on Arch.
Here's my thing about Arch, though. Arch might want to take a lesson from Shedeur in this. Shedeur is losing money, allegedly, going to the
Arch
NFL
won't be a
here.
fifth-round pick.
Yeah, he's not going to be a 5th-round pick, but still, like, if you can make really good NIL money in college and develop for another year, why not?
No, because
That's
it's
always a terrible argument to me.
It's 1 or 2 years of making less money, yes, but then once you get off your rookie deal, you're making way more money.
Fair point.
Nobody grows up dreaming of being $1 million college quarterback.
Fair point. Well, I mean, you couldn't do that until recently. Anyway.
The only sport where I would really entertain that thought process is like baseball.
Yeah, if I'm a 27th round pick.
yeah, like baseball but baseball also it's way less likely that you're making that much money in NIL to begin with. So
and like you used to see that in the WNBA a lot. They would turn down that draft pick to go play overseas.
Yeah.
The other question I had about this draft will be, does Tyler Shuck play like this year for New Orleans with Derek Carr?
I think he will at some point.
I mean, I know he's kind of older
and has never been good in the NFL,
but he's still younger than Derek Carr. I mean, I don't know. I might try that with Kellen Moore, rookie quarterback, rookie coach. That might give you some leeway. You know,
the reality is, I mean, the Saints still have some weapons, and they got to figure out who can get it to him. So I think Tyler will absolutely play.
And Carr can't stay healthy anymore either.
I think he'll play. I think you want to talk about a reach? Tyler Shuck, that was a reach and a half.
40th
overall. To me,
they could have gotten him 3 rounds later.
They could have gotten him undrafted. Nobody wanted Tyler Shuck. All I'm saying is that seems
Cleveland wants a 6th quarterback.
Where did the Arch Manning lineage start? New Orleans.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it started in New Orleans.
Archie. Yeah.
So if they could goof around and get Arch Manning 1-1 next year, Tyler Shuck is the fastest way to get to that.
I mean, Carolina. They like Bryce Young now because he had a decent back half of the season after he got benched.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa loves Baker.
Mm-hmm.
And they should now.
And who else am I missing in that division?
Atlanta.
The Falcons with Penix. I mean, those three teams kind of feel like they've got their quarterback. So if the Saints don't and they are terrible,
I'm just telling you this.
Go get your
the
lineage.
moment I saw
Go
them
get
take
Arch.
Tyler Shuck, I was like, oh, they're legit already tanking for Arch.
I'll be real honest. I didn't watch a single game he played last year.
I couldn't have told you where he played after he left Tech.
Louisville.
Until the other day.
Well, he played at like 6 schools?
Yeah, but he left Tech and went to Louisville, right?
Because didn't he back up freaking what's his name at Oregon?
Yeah, he backed up Justin Herbert at Oregon.
Like Herbert's been out for like 12 years.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I don't know. So
all
we'll
right.
see. That'll be interesting if he plays in New Orleans.
I told you all I need to do is write 2 questions and we were going to go long. So, I love that talk about the NFL draft. I think it's a draft we're going to look back on and obviously answer a lot of questions that we have right now that we've posed that we'll get concrete answers on in the future. But it was entertaining for some of the right reasons, some of the wrong reasons. But, hopefully y'all enjoyed our opinions on that. But let's hang a banner and get out of here. I have requested to go last for my hang a banner tonight. So who wants to start us off?
I'm going to go first mostly because I don't want to stick around long enough to hear Hunter's rant.
I only have 1 page to read and I'm done.
Before you get there, I just want to tell you the guy won you a national championship 2 years ago.
What have you done for me recently? Because you're a guy that wanted Steve Sarkisian fired yesterday, and then he went and had a good year, and now you're like, all right, he's off the hot seat.
I never wanted Steve Sarkisian hired in the first place.
Okay, so there you go. So hush.
So, and he's never won me a national championship. So, my hang the banner is going to be for loyalty. Quinn Ewers has been absolutely ripped. You guys touched on this a few minutes ago because of the money that he could have made with NIL if he had just transferred somewhere else, if he had gone back to Ohio State, if he had gone wherever. He was estimated at $8 million in NIL for this coming season. Chose to be a 7th-round draft pick instead and is going to make $500,000, whatever it is. But a lot of Longhorn fans, including myself, have picked Quinn Ewers apart at times. But the legacy that Quinn Ewers leaves at Texas is a guy that grew up wanting to play quarterback for the Texas Longhorns, and a guy that chose to stay when he didn't have to and could have gotten another gig, more money maybe somewhere else. And now people are ripping him because he didn't stay in college because he chose to go to the NFL. And I just feel like this is one of the rare instances in sports where loyalty matters, and Quinn should be commended for the loyalty. That's how Texas fans should remember him. The fact that they didn't have to trot out a true freshman in Arch Manning, the fact that they've now been to back-to-back CFPs, the fact that they're still continuing to turn in top recruit after top recruit is almost directly because of the way Quinn Ewers played over the last 2.5 seasons. So tip my hat to that guy. Tip my hat to loyalty. Who's next?
Do you guys want to talk about Bill Belichick?
I don't. Hold on. Now. I don't know if we're going to be allowed to air any of this, so we're going to put a disclaimer here. These are all Zach's thoughts, not anybody else's thoughts.
Are you about to talk about his interview that he just had?
I just want to hang a banner for him and his lovely girlfriend. Yeah,
things are going so bad, dude.
It's just I don't know if you guys saw any of it, but it's getting crazier and crazier with the book tour, and he's trying to sell this, but then she was on the CBS interview thing, and he didn't like the questions they were asking, and
no, she didn't like the questions.
She didn't like the questions.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
And supposedly,
double hands up.
Supposedly, she did that multiple times. That's why CBS left one of them in there because they were like, "What the fuck?"
My question is, like, if that's what they left in the interview, as someone who does this for a living,
yep,
what they leave out?
No,
in there.
Like looking at it from the standpoint of the job I'm in now, like that would be like elder abuse of somebody younger than them coming in, controlling their life, controlling their bank account. Like, it's sad.
And apparently, she leaked like an email that he sent.
Yes.
The
Like,
big rumor is that
people-
like UNC brass is like super not happy with the last several days of Bill Belichick.
I mean, but what did they
believe-
expect?
I
Put some
cannot believe he is
respect
a
on Jordan
college head
Hudson's
coach.
name.
My favorite thing about the interview wasn't even any of the girlfriend stuff. It was that Bill Belichick just found a sweatshirt on the sidewalk with holes in it and put it on.
It said
That's
Navy or
his
whatever.
look, though.
That's
always been
no, I
his
think
look.
it said Navy. Yeah.
They did say Navy.
Hey, I mean, it's a great way to sell a book. If you're trying to do that, we can hang a banner for selling books, I guess.
Dude,
She's
Hard Knocks.
24, he's 73. I want to see this. Like, this is
Hard
Give him a
Knocks.
reality show.
Hard Knocks would do freaking numbers if they just filmed fall camp at North Carolina. Holy shit.
Just the
Absolutely.
hottest girlfriend around the football stadium is the 80-year-old coach's girlfriend.
it's just. I mean,
We're gonna get like a cease and desist on this podcast. Thanks a lot.
I think it's
Zach.
funny that UNC does have a head coach on their staff that is younger than Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
That's tough.
That's just. Oh.
Oh my gosh.
but like, she leaked an entire email, and she's just a great person.
I'll hang a banner.
So there you go.
Go ahead, Landon. Let's move on.
Sorry, trying to
We need to
transition
move
us
on.
here.
Oh, I'm glad I brought it up. That was great.
Hang a banner to leaving your iPad unlocked and your son prank calling Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's just a tough look. Jordan, we talked. You mentioned that he should be fired. I want you to expand on that a little bit.
I just
You are a data officer after all.
It's
I feel
indefensible.
I feel like you can't just leave prospects' phone numbers laying around for your college kid to sit around with.
But I mean, he left an iPad unlocked. Have you never left your phone unlocked before?
Yeah, that's not really the same thing in this instance.
Yeah,
My daughter picking it up and taking selfies of herself is much different than prank calling the hottest draft prospect on national television.
Yeah, it turns out he wasn't that hot.
He was the hottest topic for 3
Who's
days.
hot?
Yeah, for Mel Kipper. Anyway.
Mel Kipper?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
You're welcome. Hang a banner.
Oh, that was rough.
You got to fire the guy. You got to suspend the guy. You got to do something.
How old
Yes,
was
Hunter.
the kid who did this?
21.
21.
And you can't hold the
Yeah.
kid accountable because he doesn't work for your organization. But his
Yeah.
dad does.
Yeah. Hunter, what do you want?
I love how Landon is the first person in this segment's history to go, hang a banner. Jordan, I want you to talk about this real quick.
It's like trivia with Landon. Oh, we'll take this. Does anyone else on my team know the answer?
Yeah, exactly.
Go
Hey,
ahead,
I'm going to bring
Cameron.
this up, but I have no idea what to say. So, Jordan, talk about it, please.
Yeah.
30 episodes in, I still forgot we had banners to hang.
No.
Landon
Cameron.
hung a banner for an Apple product.
For the record, we still don't know what this segment is about.
Yeah, we don't. We have no
Apple, if you're
clue.
listening.
No clue.
Apple sponsor us.
We've got 13 minutes until we're at the 2-hour mark, and Cameron and Hunter both still have to hang banners.
Oh, shit. This
My-
turn's going to go a while.
I'm hammering you over.
Mine should be relatively quick. Hang the banner,
That'd be
Detroit
shocking.
Pistons. You finally won a playoff game.
Cam, do you want me to expand on that, or do you want to talk about it?
Fuck all you.
So the Detroit Pistons finally won a playoff game. It was the first playoff game since before 2013 that they won. So it's been at least 12 years that they won a playoff game. Here's the kicker, though. Pope Francis, may he rest in peace. Since he became Pope in 2013, he never saw the Detroit Pistons win a playoff game. Before he became Pope Francis, the Pistons won 189 playoff games prior to 2013.
Oh man!
When he became Pope in 2013, the Pistons went on a 12-year drought of not winning a single playoff game. Then
He died.
on April 21st, listen to this. On April 21st at 1:35 a.m., Pope Francis passed away. Later that day at 10:14 p.m., the Pistons won a playoff game.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Less than a day later,
my thoughts and prayers are with his family.
as there's a drive into deep left field.
Where's Nick Castellanos when you need him?
Oh my god!
That's crazy. The Pistons fans have never been happier.
There's your sacrificial lamb.
Oh my god! Okay.
Oh my god!
May he rest.
All right, Hunter, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Hang a banner on the Chris Lemonis era of Mississippi State baseball. Jordan,
The
you can
time
leave.
The time is 1:50 on the podcast, by the way.
Jordan, you can leave now if you'd like to.
No, I was just going to say, this man can't even read, and now he's just going to read an entire ream of paper about a national championship winning coach.
My fellow Americans.
This is bullet points. All
Tonight
right.
we have executed a mission to kill the leader of Mississippi State baseball.
Hold on. No, we didn't do that. Chris Lemonis was fired on Monday. You're listening on a Thursday. So this past Monday as the head coach of Mississippi State baseball, midway through
April
his
31st.
April 31st. He was fired on April 31st. Midway through his 7th season, Chris Lemonis was the first coach in the program's history to lead them to a national championship in 2021. However, since that national championship, the Bulldogs have missed the postseason 3 out of the last 4 seasons. This season is not over, but they have to basically go 7-2 in their final 3 series in SEC play to even get on the bubble. It's probably not going to happen, even though they did beat Memphis by a million runs today. So there is hope, but I doubt it. Since winning the Natty, he had an SEC record of 42-69 with one last place finish in the SEC and a 6th place finish in the SEC West. So a last place finish in the SEC West, 6th place finish in the SEC West. That's horrible. State has not hosted a regional since they won that national championship in 2021, which is an absolute crime with the dude being the best stadium in college baseball. I will take no arguments against that. It is the best stadium. If you haven't been there, that's why you don't rank it as one. He has recruited well in his time in Mississippi State, but he has not done a good job of developing well. The team really hasn't been able to plug and play with the guys that he's brought in, and I think that's a problem, and he hasn't done a good job of replacing talent in the portal. I'm not bitter at Chris Lemonis. What he did at Mississippi State will never be forgotten, and he will be honored forever for that. Like, I think the Mississippi State fans will always look back on him with the fond memory of winning that national championship. However, he is in a business of, what have you done for me lately? Mississippi State prides itself on its baseball program. We are a top 10 program in college baseball all time. I will take no arguments against that either. We are a blue blood in college baseball. Okay, Ron Polk made college baseball must see at Mississippi State, and that tradition has carried on forever. We had a chance to have the biggest boom in Mississippi State baseball history when we won the national championship, and since we won it, we have done nothing but mediocrity after that. We are so far gone right now that it is scary. We have hope, but it is a scary time because I've mentioned it on the podcast before. Zach Selman, as an athletic director, has made one really big hire, and it's been Jeff Levy, and he went 2-10 in football. So this is a big hire right now for him as the athletic director, but I will give him credit, and I do like the fact that he is going ahead, making public statements of they want a sitting head coach. The money right now is not going to be an issue when they go out and look to initial candidates. It's very big. I'm not a huge fan of a midseason firing because I do think that Lemonis earned the right to finish the year with the national championship that he brought you. However, Selman firing him midseason shows me that they are serious about turning this program back around to where it needs to be. Okay. We lost our identity. We're going to get it back. I have a short list of a hot seat, but before I say that, I do feel bad for Chris Lemonis. I do wish him nothing but the best. When you look back at interviews, when you look back at press conferences, he knew he was struggling. He knew that the fans demanded more. He knew that the program deserved better. And I've heard nothing but good things about him and his way out so far. I know it's only been a couple of days, but shout out to that guy for bringing us the national championship. But again, it's a business of what have you done for me lately? And it hasn't been good. And I think he would agree with that. And so it had to go, and he did. And so that's where I'm at with Chris Lemonis. That's where I'm at with Mississippi State baseball right now. We got to get our identity back. It's on Zach Selman to do it. Here's my list, my hot seat list, or hot board list, whatever you want to call it. Hot seat's the wrong word. My hot board list. Hot board. This is just me. I'd matter 0%. Okay. This is just my thoughts of who I want.
You're not stealing the West Virginia coach.
No, I'm not. I don't want him.
Hands off.
Don't want him. Lane Burroughs, Louisiana Tech, number 1. Mississippi State ties. He played baseball at Mississippi College. He's done amazing things at Northwestern State as a head coach and Louisiana Tech as a head coach. Hosted a regional at Louisiana Tech. It's really impressive to do there. I think he's a slam dunk hire if you go get Lane Burroughs. Number 2, Wes Johnson at Georgia. He was on staff at Mississippi State before as a pitching coach. He has done a fantastic job in 2 years at Georgia. They're currently ranked number 9 in the country. Think that'd be a dynamite hire. Number 3, Nick Mingione. The buyout at Kentucky is very, very big, but he led Kentucky to their first ever appearance in Omaha. That is no thing to sleep on right there. Very, very important. He plays good, solid, fundamental baseball. Well, he doesn't. His teams do. Very, very good coach. He was also on staff as the head assistant when we lost to the national championship in 2013. So he has Mississippi State ties. A guy that is at a mid-major that has criticized NIL for the bigger teams poaching his players. You could give him a chance at a big school. Cliff Godwin at ECU. I think that'd be a great hire. Tim Corbin at Vanderbilt is a far stretch. I don't think he leaves Vanderbilt, but I would love to give him a call because I love Tim Corbin as a head baseball coach. He's won multiple national championships, so I think that would be good. Cameron, I don't know if you know his name or not. It's how to say his name. Eric, I think it's Becht, maybe from Clemson. I don't know how to say his name. Sorry. The head coach at Clemson, he's been very good. He led Michigan to a national championship series when he was at Michigan. He's been at Clemson for 3 years. They're right now a top 15 program in the country. They're definitely hosting a regional for sure. Be a very good hire. Butch Thompson at Auburn, also a pitching coach when they made their run in 2013 to the national championship. He's been up and down at Auburn. Wouldn't be a bad hire. I have him pretty low on my list, but that's where I'm at. I can stop at 7. I got so many coaches that I really, really want. But my one thing is this, and I will give Zach Selman credit again here. I've already said it. I want a sitting head coach. Our program is too good to go get an assistant. If we go get a head assistant, that means that everybody turned us down, and that's not good. Go get a sitting head coach. We are not a joke of a program. Okay. You don't build the stadium we have. You don't put the money that we do into baseball to go get an assistant. Go get a head coach. I want a head coach with head coaching experience. Thank you, Chris Lemonis, for your time. Best of luck. Hopefully they nail it with whoever they get. I'm really excited. We have hope for now, making me feel a lot better about the baseball program. Go ahead, Cameron.
I do have an idea of someone that should be on your hot board that you didn't mention. There's a guy who doesn't have a job right now in college baseball who has ties to Mississippi State and has won a national championship. His name's Chris Lemonis.
We just fire Lemonis to hire him back at a cheaper rate.
Also,
Who else?
What's a hot board? What is that? That's not a thing. A
Message
hot
board talk.
A hot board. You don't know what a hot board is? Oh yeah, your football coach. Your football coach is the same man that founded the program, so you've never had to go through a football hot board. So, yeah. A lot of people I've seen too on the Mississippi State, Twitter have they want the guy from Duke, Coach Pollard.
Coach Chris Pollard. He ain't leaving.
I don't
John
like that.
Schumer.
I do not like that hire.
Well, first of all, if you somehow got him away from Duke, that's a phenomenal hire, and you should not be ashamed of that, Hunter.
I wouldn't be ashamed of it. It's just not my first choice.
I mean, that's fair, but I don't think you would be able to get him away from Duke. Miami offered him a bag last year, and he turned it down, re-signed with Duke, and they're investing a lot of resources into baseball now at Duke. So I don't think he would really be in a position to where he would leave.
I will throw this out there too. The Mississippi State fans saying Tony Vitello is going to leave Tennessee. Stop it. He's not. That's just stupid. Don't do that. Stop it. And I know Jordan's left the podcast feed and just saw a text saying that I'm turning this into a comedy act, saying Tim Corbin's going to leave Vanderbilt. I said it was a stretch. Okay, for one. Then number two, I mean, Mississippi State can throw more money at a baseball program than Vanderbilt can. So why not? Shit. Might as well give him a call. Worst thing he can do is say no. It's like talking to the hot girl at the bar. She's going to say no. Might as well at least ask. So, I mean, shit. You never know.
I mean, knowing us, she's going to say no.
Exactly. Same thing with Tony V. Like, call him and have a number in your head and say, all right, this is what we would pay him. Then call him, and he's like, yeah, I want this. And if it's above that number, be like, all right, well, cool. Thanks for answering the call, Tony. See ya. Might as well call him. He's the hottest coach in baseball right now. Why not? I mean, shit. Tennessee wasn't anything in college baseball until he built it up to be the program that they are right now. Any Tennessee fan that'll argue against that, they're wrong, because half of them didn't even know they had a baseball program until he took them to a regional. So,
you see that Tony V is the hottest coach in baseball?
Who's hot?
He's a pretty good looking dude.
I mean, he's a good looking dude, but I mean, I was just talking on the standpoint of like momentum and talent. But if you want to talk about looks, I mean, yeah, he's up there, I guess.
Okay.
There you go. Does anybody else have anything they want to add? I wasn't even that long on my Mississippi State stuff.
What's their record this year?
Mississippi State.
Yeah.
With today's win over Memphis, I think we are 26, and I know we're 7-14 in the SEC right now.
Ugh.
Yeah, the SEC record of 42-69 since the national championship has been awful. Yeah, that is nice. Let's see what we got. They've also two of those seasons back to back. The year after the Natty, they went 9-21 in the SEC, and then followed it up with another 9-21 season in the SEC. Missed the postseason both years. 2022, they had a bunch of injuries, but still, that can't happen.
What's your record?
I'm going to shit on ESPN. I'm looking it up. I'm going to shit on ESPN
It was a pretty straightforward question.
It was, and I went to the worst source to get it because I went to the ESPN app, and they never have baseball records on there. But they'll have the scores on there, but they never have baseball records on there. Mississippi State is currently 26 and 19.
Oh, at least it's a winning record.
Are they going to make it in tournament?
If they go 7-2 in their final three SEC series, they have Kentucky at home, Ole Miss at home, and then at Missouri. Missouri is yet to win a conference game, so you have to sweep Missouri. If they can win those two series against Kentucky and Ole Miss, they are on the bubble. Normally, 13 to 14 wins in the SEC gets you in. I think it's going to take 14, so they have to win 7 of their last 9. They're good on Friday nights because Pico Khan's been a solid Friday night starter. The problem is their defense and their hitting. Well, not necessarily their hitting is timely hitting. They do not do a good job on some nights of hitting with runners on base, and they hit unproductive home runs. And what I mean by that is they hit nothing but solo shots. For the love of God, we cannot hit a 3-run or a 2-run home run. That changed tonight. We scored 18 runs against Memphis. I do think this team has an outside shot of making a run just because the monkey's off their back, because a lot of people the last 2 to 3 weeks were talking about how Lemonis is going to get canned at the end of the year. That's all gone now. They know that this team is all they have left. They have 9 SEC games left. Just go put it out on the table and just see what happens, you know? So,
well, we started this podcast with trying to get on the monkey's back, and now we're ending the podcast with getting the monkey off of your own back.
All that from hey, what's your record?
Yep. That's what they call in radio a segue. No.
Oh,
We are Press Box After
Show,
Dark.
boys.
I didn't even plug our socials, but if you made it this long in the podcast, please follow us on Spotify and YouTube. We actually are so close to getting 25 followers on YouTube to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're at 23. We're so close. I can feel it. It's coming in the next year and a half. Give us a follow on Spotify. Give us a follow on YouTube, Press Box After Dark. You can also follow us on Twitter at PressBoxAD and check out our website in our Twitter bio, PressBoxAfterDark.com. You can check out weekly blogs. 3 Up 3 Downs coming back this week. And then I got a 1st and 5 college football blog of the whole Nico Imaliava saga. Just wanted to type that out on all my thoughts on the Nico saga. So check out those 2 blogs. We also cover Survivor for our reality TV show fans as season 48 is coming down the downhill stretch here, or the down home stretch or downhill stretch. Either one work there?
Is that like a hot board?
I don't know. But does anybody else have anything they want to add here as we get out of here? I know when I edit this, I'm going to make it under 2 hours just to piss Jordan off.
I feel like Landon probably has something to say, right?
Suck it, Hunter.
Nice.
He had to unmute himself to do that.
He's been muted for an hour.
I didn't hear a single word of what Hunter said.
Neither did Jordan. It's fine. Jordan sucks. Everybody knows that. Listens to this podcast.
Landon was like that LeBron James meme that came out earlier this week, where he's sitting like this, and then he's like,
"Oh Jesus!" Yep, Landon is our LeBron James. We're cutting it there.
Okay.
Suck it, Hunter.
It's time for the Sonic drive of the game. And perhaps as far as I'm concerned, the drive of the game may be our drive home from Starkville to Tupelo.
You can't fire me. I got